Reports coming out that the U.S. is in talks with energy-producing countries and companies around the world to try to create a plan to divert supplies of energy, oil, and natural gas to Europe if necessary, should Russia invade Ukraine.
But is this the right strategy? Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Meuser took to Twitter to point this out, saying dependence on foreign fuel is devastating the American economy. American energy is affordable energy. Hashtag Biden by the numbers.
Joining us now to discuss, Pennsylvania Congressman and member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Dan Meuser. Congressman, what's your thought on what's going on right now?
Well, you know, just 2 short years ago, we were energy independent as a nation. Since Joe Biden came into office, all of that has changed. We've done everything possible to rattle our domestic energy industry, prohibiting the expansion on federal lands, canceling the Keystone Pipeline, of course, and our banking systems are being regularly threatened, frankly, for investments in fossil fuel companies. Meanwhile, of course, the famous approval of the Nord Stream 2. So somehow or another, pipelines are okay from Russia to Germany, but not so from Canada to the United States of America. All of this just builds up to create no investment, certainly not capital investment taking place in the energy industry, and a shortage of supplies.
Yeah, take a look at this, these energy increases since 2021. Gas up 49.6%, and utility gas service up 24.1%. And I'd asked this question earlier. If, in fact, Russia does invade Ukraine, specifically the Crimea region, Donbass, that area specifically, what impact will that have for us here in the United States?
Well, it'll be very impactful, really, for the whole world. Again, particularly since we rely upon the Middle East and, in fact, Russia. Believe it or not, we get imports from Russia into New England because we don't have a pipeline that goes across New York State from the Marcellus Shale in Pennsylvania, the second largest reserve in the world, to New England. So we're doing a lot of things kind of backwards, and we need to straighten that out. Now, if the one thing that the Biden administration just earlier today did announce, they stated, and hopefully they stand up to it, that the Nord Stream 2 will be canceled if an invasion takes place. So it does seem as if the Biden administration, very late in the game here, but is starting to respond in the superpower, substantive manner with.
So put the sanctions back in place that Biden lifted, which allowed Nord Stream 2 to continue when he took office.
That's right. That's right. Reversing the earlier decision should, again, letting Putin make the first move first if they were to invade. So I believe that should be done now. Many of these other consequences, including sanctions, should as well be and force Russia to pull back. Then we can talk about future matters.
Russia's making a lot of money right now in oil. It's their main product. And the price of oil has gone up to $88 a barrel. It was down in the 60s before Christmas. Now we're at $88 a barrel. Gas supply, also a major concern in the event that Mr. Putin decides to weaponize it. Here's what Secretary Blinken had to say about it.
We're in discussions with governments and major producers around the world about surging their capacity. We're engaged in detailed conversations with our allies and partners about coordinating our response, including how best to deploy their existing energy stockpiles. All this effort is aimed at mitigating price shocks and ensuring that people in the United States, Europe, and around the world have the energy they need, no matter what Russia decides to do.
Congressman, your comments.
Well, you know, the BBB initiative repeals the intangible drilling cost deduction. That's a huge deduction for drilling that has existed, I think, for about 150 years. I think Secretary Blinken and certainly President Biden ought to be focusing on reinvigorating our domestic energy resources as opposed to pleading around the world in preparation they're making this imminent and inevitable with the moves being taken, along with these pleas going out to the other energy producing countries, where of course we're actually the best at this point. We're abandoning. We're the only country in the world that has abandoned our embassy in the Ukraine. So, this administration is really mismanaging this very serious situation on many fronts.
Yeah, and some of these liquefied natural gas companies, in turn, also now stand to make a lot of money as well as a result of what's happened with Russia and, Nord Stream 2. It's just interesting to look at and see who will benefit from all of this.
Agreed. Yeah. Again, though, if we're learning anything here, energy is national security. Right. We need to be pro domestic energy producing, not continue to literally be on the attack of our own domestic energy companies.
Energy independent. Congressman Dan Meuser, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Bob.